Good evening, everybody, and a huge welcome to those of you that have logged on to this evening's webinar. My name's Claire Hallett-Walsh, and I'm going to be hosting the webinar this evening with some other fantastic mums. And we just thought it would be a really good idea to host a series of webinars where you guys could get to know some of the people that are already working within Forever Living, how they're finding the business, and what difference it has made to their lives. And it also gives you a chance to ask us some questions. So just to put myself in the picture, my name's Claire Hallett-Walsh, and I've actually been with Forever now for 4 years. And I actually joined the business purely because I had a corporate background and I was desperate to find a better work-life balance when I had my twins. I was always swapping time for money, so if I was spending time with the children, I wasn't making any money, and if I was working, I wasn't spending time with the children. So when they were 10 months old, I made the decision to join Forever, and actually for a couple of years I simply retailed and earned a few £100s a month because it topped up our income and gave me the opportunity to reduce my hours. And then for the last 2 years, I've built a great business with Forever, which has enabled me to replace my corporate income, spend much more time with the children, and enjoy a better quality of life. So we're going to be spending about 45 minutes. The first 20-25 we'll be talking to 4 other mums who will be talking about their stories. And then we're going to spend probably about 20-25 minutes talking through some questions. So I encourage you to put any questions that you might have in the chat box. So you can probably see on the right hand side, you can just drop in the chat box, just type any questions. And once we've gone through our stories, we'll be picking out some questions for the guys to answer. So without further ado, I'm going to start introducing you to our mums. The first of which is a lady called Rachel V. She has got a much longer surname than that, but she told me Rachel V is fine. So Rachel's just going to talk you through her background and why she joined Forever. So Rachel, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Claire. As Claire said, my name's Rachel. It's Rachel Vlack-Nicholas for those that want to try and say it afterwards. And I haven't been in the business for that long, actually. I joined the business last June. My background is in teaching. I grew up wanting to be a teacher. I went to college wanting to be a teacher and then studied at university. And the result was great. I ended up in what I thought was my perfect job. Absolutely love teaching. I think it's an amazing career. I absolutely loved working with children and seeing them through to a successful end, whether that was short-term or long-term. I loved the team spirit of working in a school, and I actually loved being really organised and in control all of the time. So yeah, it was a perfect job for me. I had children. I went back to work after having children and again felt fine about that. And then my eldest daughter, Iris, she's 4.5 now. She was about 3.5 and she got her letter to say she had her place at primary school. And completely out of the blue, a kind of wave of anxiety hit me because as much as I knew I'd get the school holidays with her, I realised that I wouldn't be able to be the mum at the school gates. So I started to look at going part-time, reducing my hours further, and really I had to look for something which would supplement my teaching income to allow me to do that. So I had a really good look around. I looked at loads of different opportunities and I was quite meticulous with my research on all of the different companies I came across and the different opportunities. And Forever was something which really stood out to me as a great opportunity. So I joined in June and I set myself a very clear goal that by the Christmas, so June 2015, by December 2015, I really needed to be earning the same as my teaching salary because I had a goal that by the end of the academic year, so the July that's coming up, I wanted to be able to take some time out of teaching and be the mum at the school gates. Things kind of, my goals got brought forward, shall I say, and this is going to sound really bizarre to other people who aren't mums. I feel like I can say it on this webinar because you're here, hopefully as a mum, meeting other mums. But I had to always work, even if I worked 1 day a week, on a Tuesday, because Tuesday was staff meeting day, and the head said, you must be here on a Tuesday, which was fine, except that it was ballet day. And Iris started ballet at 2, and now my other little girl, Rosa, does ballet. And so Daddy had to be the one to take them to ballet, which, again, is lovely. Daddy's willing to do it. And after about 3 weeks, he'd sent me a photograph of them every single week there, which he thought was quite a nice thing to do. But if you'd seen their hair and their leotard was up here, and just the look of them, I thought, I can't do this to them. Tuesdays, they're actually the one day of the week that I really want to be the mum, taking them to ballet and making sure when they do their little show every 6 weeks, they don't look like that. So I brought my goal forward, actually, which coincided quite nicely because by then it was kind of October time and I'd been in the business for a few months. I'd already had my first promotion with Forever, and I thought, actually, I can do this and I can do it quicker. So, yeah, I joined in the June. I did feel when I joined nervous. I'd never done anything like it before. I'd taught all my life. I was probably quite sceptical, even though I'd looked at a lot of opportunities. I probably thought, can this actually work? But yeah, by October, I thought, this is working. I've had a promotion. I'm enjoying myself. Some of the people who were a little bit, what is it that you're doing, had become customers of mine and were really enjoying the products too. So I brought my goals forward. And actually, by April this year, I'd said goodbye to the day job and I'm now at the ballet every week. So it's been a massive success for me, and it all happened quicker and with less stress than I thought it would. The things that I've found with Forever is that it's given me a massive new positive outlook on life. It's given me the feeling of being in control. I control my time. I control which days I work and which days I don't. I get to go on the school trips, and I can really plan our week around the girls first and work second without feeling guilty and without, I'm still able to be really aspirational with the business. So it isn't a hobby, it doesn't fit into my spare time, it's very much part-time rather than spare time, but it fits around the girls. So yeah, my goals have been achieved. I love the company. In fact, the longer that I'm in Forever, the more passionate I feel and the prouder I feel about being part of the company, because the rest of the team are amazing, the support's fantastic, and every time I go along to an event, we've just had one this weekend, I come away with bigger goals, and actually now I feel like I'm in a position where over the next year I will be able to be in teaching. I guess I moved up the ladder quite quickly, and I always aspired to be a head teacher and be at the top of my game in the environment that I worked in. And I can do that now without compromising anything at home. So for me, it's been an absolute whirlwind and a fantastic journey, and it's inspired lots of other people in my family and close friends to do exactly the same, and they're on board and doing really well too. So that's my story.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rachel. Thank you. So now I'm going to hand over to lovely Jo Wood, and Jo's going to talk you through her background and why she's joined Forever and how she's finding it. Over to you, Jo.
Oh, thank you, Claire. I am Jo Wood. I'm a mum to 3 children. My eldest, Daniel, is 13. I've got a 9-year-old daughter, Grace, and a 5-year-old daughter, Rosie. And I joined Forever a year ago now, just over a year ago. But my background is actually in bookkeeping. When I left school, someone told me when I was in my sixth form years that people always need an accountant. In good times or bad times, you know, if there's money or there's no money, you need an accountant. And also it's really flexible, because I always knew I wanted to have children. It's really flexible around kids. yeah, that wasn't really the case, but that's what I did. I trained to be an accountant, but actually had my son, met my husband, and it all happened really quickly. So I didn't actually get my full qualifications, but I had enough to become a bookkeeper. And that's what I used to do in my spare, in and around the kids, while hubby went to work. But in 2010, when we had just had Rosie, she'd just been born. The next month, my husband was made redundant, and the little part-time bookkeeping job that I was running from the garage was the only income that we had coming into the house. So I had to, step up my game a bit. Paul. We knew that Paul's finding a job, my husband, for him to find a job was going to be tough because he was in a very specialised environment, so he was going to have to retrain. So I built up a business, and it got really big, and actually so big that Paul ended up training up to be my payroll partner. So we went into business together. I did the bookkeeping, he did the payroll, and we grew a team. We had 14 people in the company, and I managed to keep a roof over our heads for 4 years, but it was very stressful, and I had 3 children, and we didn't have any childcare, so we were like passing ships in the night. One of us would be looking after the 3 babies while the other one was looking after the other baby, and we would be working till 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, we had at the end about 300 clients. It was manically busy, and that took a lot of strain, and my stress levels were very high. I was constantly stressed. I kept telling myself I work really well when I'm under pressure, really well when I'm stressed. That's when I'm at my best. Yeah, and then I got really, really ill. And after about 3 operations, because I got really, really ill, I realised I needed to take a step back, and I realised that I had this huge amount of mum guilt, huge amount, and actually. I didn't want to just be this corporate person and miss out, because I realised that you blink and you miss it, and they're all growing up so quickly. And what happened was Rosie was going to school, so she was at the point of going to primary school because she's an August baby, so she was going, and then my son was starting secondary school at the same time, and that on top of running the business was extremely stressful, and I thought something's got to give, but I didn't know what I was going to do because I was so busy. And that was at the point that someone offered me the Forever opportunity, and I thought, well, I can't do this, I'm way too busy. And my husband kind of looked at me like, don't you even think about it. But I said to him, well, what about if I just try the products? Because I'm trying to make myself healthier, and I knew I was trying to wean off. I was on quite a few drugs and things. I wanted to wean off of those, and I wanted to go down the natural route. So that's what we did. I joined the business under the proviso that I wasn't actually doing the business, but I was just trying the products. But I knew that I loved the whole idea of it, and I thought, what if this is actually the thing that's going to help me escape this rat race? And I quickly had success with the products, and everybody could see how much better I was feeling, and so I started to gain customers, then team members, and I got 3 promotions in the first 4 months, and realised that actually I had kind of nearly matched the income that I was earning from the bookkeeping business, and so I decided to sell my share in the business in October last year, and I now work this business from home around the 3 children. I do not know how I fitted in the other business now. I'm just so busy with the kids that it does surprise me, but I'm absolutely having a ball. I've got lots of plans for the future to grow my business and to achieve lots of things which I never thought would be possible. My next goal is to enable my husband to be able to sell his share in the business, so that he can actually figure out what it is he wanted to do, because he kind of got forced into this one, so that's really my next big dream. But I know that is possible with Forever. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jo. That's fantastic. Thank you. So you can start to see that we've all got very, very different backgrounds and different reasons for joining Forever. So I'm now going to hand you over to the lovely Alexandra Willingale. And Alexandra will give you some details on why and how she got involved in Forever.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Claire. Yes, so as Claire said, my name's Alexandra Willingale. And despite the accent, I'm actually originally from Belgium. I lived, well, until 6 years ago, I lived in Belgium, and I met my husband over there. My background is in the hotel industry, and I worked for a major hotel company in Brussels. It was the head office for a major hotel company looking after Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Absolutely loved what I did. Has a little baby boy, Ethan, and lots of things happened, which meant that we had to very quickly move over to the UK. So Damien, me, and a 6-month-old moved over to the UK, and to cut a long story short, I didn't want to go back to work. I was just really, just so surprised at how much childcare cost in the UK in comparison with Belgium. It was just crazy. So what I was thinking, well, why would I go out to work to effectively pay somebody else to look after my baby? It didn't make any sense to me at all. So I became a stay-at-home mum, and I just loved it. I loved, especially with a baby who's 6 months old, they start to give back, don't they? So I loved it. But it became very clear very quickly that we weren't going to live on just Damien's income. So I looked into all kinds of different things. I tried childminding for about 3 months and decided that wasn't for me. I then thought, well, I'll become a nail technician. So having always been the person to get my nails done, I became the person on the other side of the table, and I did it from home. And actually, I really enjoyed the kind of creating a brand and all that kind of thing. I enjoyed the marketing side of it, the business side of it, I guess. And then also, I loved the chit chat, so that was quite good. And I did actually start up quite a good business. And it was actually through my nail business that I met the lady that introduced me to Forever. By this time I've already had a second baby, and so yeah, I was introduced to Forever 3 years ago now. And initially I thought, you know what, I'll start this as a second income stream alongside my nail salon business, and I'll be able to, you know, promote the products to my customers. And it worked really, really well. And actually, the products just started to sell themselves. And soon, very quickly, in fact, probably within the first 6 months, I had matched my my nail business income. And I suddenly thought, you know what? If I invested more time into this, actually, I could do something quite special with this. So that's what I did. And I worked my business really part-time around Ethan and Maya. So Ethan's now 7. Maya is just nearly 5, and whilst she was at preschool, I just worked it really when she was in preschool and sometimes in the evenings. It was really when she started going to school that I really worked it properly. And I've built now a full-time income working, yeah, as we all say, you know, part-time hours, and it's so true. What I was really looking for was, I wanted that flexibility. I wanted to be a full-time mum, but I also wanted a career, because that's what I'd had before. I've always been a career woman, and suddenly I also felt like I'd lost my identity a little bit, sort of become mummy, and I didn't have anything for me anymore. So Forever became that. So I got some independence back, felt I had my own career again, but I think most importantly, my own income. That was really, really important to me. But Forever has delivered on so many levels. We had loads of goals when we first started, and one of the major ones for us was to be able to put our children into private school. Now, we put Ethan into private school in February of this year. That was a huge goal, which obviously Forever has enabled us to do. Maya is at the moment in foundation, so she's starting year 1, and we're going to move her in September. So those are huge goals. And I feel really proud that it's my business that's enabled us to do that. And being able to help people in my team has meant that my business has grown. It's just really, it's fantastic. It's a really, really lovely feeling. The other big goal that we had was to take them to Disney. I think that's probably a goal on a lot of parents' list. And we've booked to go to Disney in the summer. And actually, Ethan and Maya don't know about it. I can't wait to see their faces. It's going to be absolutely priceless. And I think those are the things that Forever can offer. you know, if you build your business and you invest your time into it, then it can give you, it just rewards you. It's fantastic. The other thing I can say is that, and I don't know whether any of you can relate to this, but when I became a mum, I lost a lot of confidence, and I don't know why, but it's like motherhood kind of took that confidence away from me, and I lost a lot of self-confidence, a lot of self-belief, and I really had to work on that a lot when I first started with Forever. But actually, Forever has helped me to do that. I mean, if you'd said to me 3 years ago, Alexandra, you're going to be on a webinar, I'd have just gone, you must be joking, let alone actually, you know, put my name forward for it. So it's helped very, very much for that, you know, sort of building confidence again, being able to yeah, become a better person, I think, really. So I know that this business works. I know that if I invest my time and effort into it, it's gonna repay me tenfold, really. So it's really, really exciting. And yeah, I've got some big goals, more big goals to tick off over the next 2-3 years. So yeah, it's exciting.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Alexandra. That's fantastic. And Liz, can you hear us okay, Liz?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I think we lost you
Good.
for a minute.
Yes.
So
Well, yeah, we've
go on,
got a
Karen.
thunderstorm here. We had a power cut, so and now I've had trials through. So yeah, a slight emergency, but we're all under control.
Good, good. Well, I'll hand you over to Liz, who's our fifth mum, if you include me. And Liz is just going to explain to you why she got involved in Forever and how she's finding the business now as well.
Okay, so as you can see, I'm Liz Doyle. Well, basically, I started with Forever. Oh my goodness, it's actually over 7.5 years ago. So I'm like, you know, been around a long time with Forever. I started because basically, you know, very, very similar to everyone else, really. Once you have children, all your priorities change. But it wasn't until actually I had my third, and I decided, I'm a mum of 3 girls. Goodness, 23, 18, and 14. Oh, good. Yeah. So my youngest, when I had my youngest, I thought, do you know what I could really do with a break? I've been working full time, fitting it all around the family, everybody else, and just thought, you know what, I just really had enough. I'd kind of had enough of the corporate world anyway. You know, things had changed. We had so many management buyouts where I worked. I felt like a part of the furniture. My background is in IT and office management for a recruitment company, and it had changed so much. So I was really happy to take that break. But I think as soon as I made it, I love being mum at home, and I still do. Absolutely loved it. But I just missed all that independence that you have when you work. I missed my own income. I just felt that I wasn't really contributing, which is a bit daft, isn't it, when we think how hard us mums work. So again, I'm saying this quite honestly now because it's not, you know, us mums know what it's like. So at the time, you know, I kind of just felt I'd lost some of my identity, I suppose. So I was kind of tried bits and bobs. Everything I found was either really badly paid or really boring or both. I couldn't really find anything that fitted what I was looking for. And so when I was offered the opportunity to have a look at Forever, I kind of thought, well, it's too good to be true. I just didn't really believe anything I saw. I suppose I was quite sceptical back then. And I looked at it all, kept looking at it, was a bit intrigued, kept talking to Sarah, who talked to me about the whole thing. And eventually I kind of realized I've got nothing to lose. And just went for it. And blimey, you know, when I look back, I'm so glad I did, because I don't know what I would be, where I'd be now if I hadn't. But much the same as Claire at the beginning, I was just looking for a top-up income. Again, even after I started, I was still a bit skeptical because I'd never heard of network marketing. I'd never heard of Forever, never heard anything like this. So I kind of really didn't understand how you could build a really good, solid, regular income from a bit of aloe vera. I just didn't get it, just didn't get it at all. So I started meeting people, started reading more. I mean, we didn't have Facebook so much around then, so it took a bit longer for me, I suppose, to really get the power of what this business is all about. So anyway, so I was really happy getting my top-up income. I loved the products. I am a product of the products. that was really easy for me because it was just a matter of recommending them. And so I could build that customer base quite quickly. What I didn't really want to do is talk to people about the business. And I know that's quite a lot of, people relate to that because they think, oh, you worry about what people think and so on. But that actually came quite naturally when I decided to go for it. And what triggered that was I got divorced. So I became a single mum. And I thought, well, I either have to go back to that lovely job or something similar, or I actually take this seriously. And I did not want to go back to the office politics, the commuting, having to ask for a day off. My middle daughter has a very serious lung disease. So if she has to go into hospital, it's for 2 weeks at a time. And at that stage, when she was a lot younger, it's a matter of, you need to almost project manage it. So I did not want to lose any of that. So I wanted to keep all that, but build a good, solid, regular income. And I actually realized, what, if I take this really seriously, I can. So that's what I decided to do. And so now I work with some fantastic, lovely people, among you four amongst some of them. I just love working with people, helping people. And I have got both, best of both worlds, really. I'm stay-at-home mum, but I'm building that career income, which I really didn't think you could do. And as Alexandra said, the future is looking even rosier because, next year we're qualifying for overseas trips and, car plan. We're going for everything. And actually, I've got my daughters really supporting me on this because they're even more excited. And again, with the positivity side of it, teaching your children how you can actually, if you work hard for something and you really believe you can and you set goals. Wow, I never had any of that when I was a child, and I never really saw that for my children. So now I'm able to pass that on. So I feel it's like a privilege to pass that on, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm in a really good place and looking forward to the future.
Thank you. Thanks, Liz. That's brilliant. So just a reminder to everyone, we have got some questions that are starting to come in. So what we're going to do now is spend some time. We've got about 25 minutes, and we're just going to talk through probably a couple of questions each about the basic things that are coming through that people would like to ask our mums. So Rachel, a lady called Julie is asking, what happens next? If you decide this business is right for you, what happens when you get started? Did you want to answer that one, Rachel?
That's fine. So, yeah, I'll talk you through the process really that happened with me once I decided, I'd looked at all the information and decided that I wanted to get going with this. I guess I signed on June the 28th last year. So I met the lady that sponsored me, and I signed a form with her, just put in my basic details. It probably took about 5 minutes to register. So you register with the business. You can do that by meeting somebody or over the phone or via a Skype. It's very easy to do. And then as soon as she'd registered me, she added me to a few Facebook groups, which were support groups, so I could watch what other people were doing. And then within a few days, I had my lovely box arrive, my business owner box. Claire, did you want me to talk about what's in that box?
Yeah, it's entirely up to you. You can kind of talk about what the box is. That probably helps.
So, yeah, basically, it's everything you need to get started with your business in that box. There's literature, there's all the paperwork you might need going forward, and there's our top-selling products in there. For me, a major part of getting started with this business was getting those products out and trying them for myself so that I was confident with what I was going to be sharing with other people. So yeah, I had a look around on the Facebook groups, tried the products, and then within about 48 hours, I'd had a planning meeting with my sponsor. And what I loved actually about getting started with Forever was there wasn't a set route I was going to take. Your first planning meeting is very much deciding what you want from the business, what your personal goals are, because everybody's goals are totally different and the income they want or need is different. And once you've had that planning meeting, so mine was probably about 5 days after registering, then a plan will be set for you. And I guess the thing for me that helped me get on my way quite quickly was the support that you get then. So you have a plan set, which includes kind of training and reading, but also activity. And my hand was truly held every step of that way. So what training to do, what books to read, what activity to do. Somebody came with me and did some of the activity. It was very much supported, step by step, broken down into small steps. Everything, all my firsts were supported. So yeah, get registered, get your box, look around the Facebook groups and have a planning meeting.
Okay, thank you. And that leads us on to the next question. So Alexandra, you might want to answer this one, which is how does training work once you've started?
Oh, well, I think I mentioned this in my introduction. The training's fantastic with Forever. In fact, it's just outstanding. We have so Forever's got Investors in People. It was something that I'd heard of because when I did move to the UK, very briefly, I did work for a corporate company, and they had Investors in People. So I knew that it was quite a big thing. And Forever has the gold standard, and that means for anybody who decides to start up a business with Forever, that basically we have absolutely outstanding training and support that comes top down to us through Forever. Yeah, it's a fantastic accreditation to have, and we're the first in our sector actually as well, the health and wellness sector, to have that. Now, with regards to trainings, there are so many different types. I mean, obviously we've got some live group trainings, if you like. We have team meetings, local team meetings, but also training that's put on by the company that's local. There's national trainings, and then there's international trainings as well on some of the incentive trips, etc. We have company days, so our success days. We've just come back from a 2-day weekend of absolutely amazing inspiration and recognition and training. They're amazing fun, as well as being able to learn something along the way. If you're worried that you can't attend trainings, I think that was something that was a little bit concerning to me. I've had 2 young children. We have loads of online stuff. So, for example, a webinar like this evening, generally speaking, we record everything. So if you're not able to listen in on the night, you can listen into it the following day whenever it suits you. So a lot of it's done at home as well. So through our website from Forever, there's loads of training on there, but also obviously trainings delivered by the teams, etc. And Forever is really committed to giving us, I guess, the knowledge and success and tools that we need for our success. Just to go back, you know, I said I worked for a hotel company. It was a pretty major hotel company globally, and they offered amazing trainings. And one of my regrets when I left that company was that I would never perhaps have the those kind of trainings would never be available to me again. And oh boy, how wrong could I possibly be? Because Forever has absolutely blown it out of the water. So yeah, the training's really accessible. It's accessible for everyone. It really is.
Brilliant, thank you. And Sarah's asking, Jo, this could be a question for you. She's got loads of people in her area that are doing Forever. She sees it on Facebook all the time. You know, aren't there too many people doing it? Is the market a bit saturated?
Okay, yeah, Sarah, I know exactly how you feel, because that's exactly what I felt when I first joined the business. But it's really actually amazing, because what I found was that it doesn't actually matter how many people you know that are doing the business, or because actually what that's proving is what a great business it is, you know, and how we are growing. But the reality is, in the sector that we're in, you know, we're not even at the 1% of taking the market. So there is a huge scope for growth still. And the people that are already doing the business don't have your family and your friends. They don't go to your clubs necessarily all the time, or they don't go to your church, or you know, the toddler groups that you go to, etc. They're not with you 24/7, and there's a big wide world out there. And and Forever actually operate in 159 countries. So, you know, we can think really big. We can go global with this. If you've got family in another country, you know, you can take this business there. It still amazes me that I get checks from other countries and I don't know the people that are there, because they're my team members' families. And some of these team members I know really well, but I didn't realise they had family in that country or this country, etc. So, so it is really, it sometimes can feel like you can see Forever everywhere. But this weekend I went to an event, and I can promise you 80 to 90% of the people that I said, have you ever heard of Forever? They were like, no, what is it? They didn't have a clue. And about 50% of them did not know anything about the benefits of aloe vera past, oh, isn't it a little bit good for sunburn? So they had no idea what, you know, what we have to offer. So I think sometimes it can be our perception that the market is potentially saturated, but it really isn't the reality.
Whilst you're just talking about that, Jo, you might want to just answer the next question as well. So Katrina's just asking, how do we find customers? So it could kind of lead on quite nicely from what you're just saying.
Yes. Okay, well, first things first, you have to be the best customer that you've got. It scares me sometimes how much I use in a day, but I just absolutely love my products. And like I said, when I was explaining my story, that was what gave my business the initial growth, because people could see the change in me, and they could see that my skin was getting better. I always had very short hair, like pixie style haircut, and I've got long hair now, and everyone would be like, "Oh, how are you growing your hair?" etc. I just felt better, and I had more energy. So that's the first thing. You have to be, I often say I feel like I'm a walking, talking aloe vera plant, the amount of stuff that I have on me and in me. So that's first things first, because as well, I'm not a natural salesperson. I'm a bookkeeper. I'm a geek. I like my spreadsheets and hiding behind a computer. So I couldn't naturally go out and just sell things to people. I had to truly believe in the products. And the only way to do that is to have personal, use them personally, so that you can just recommend them. So that's what I did. And then I really just, firstly, I started speaking to, or the person that sponsored me helped me to introduce some of the products in the business to some of my very close friends and family. I just had a very small evening at home, just some wine and nibbles, and we just talked through some of the products. And that was great, because I didn't have the words to use, or I didn't know enough about the products at the time, and it was great as an initial training for myself. And then from there, so actually I have got 3 or 4 very good customers from that first evening. Then, yes, you have your friends that you speak to at the school gates. Yes, you do go to the gym, and you've got some friends in a class. I just talk to people about it. But actually, like I say, a lot of them ask me first, but I talk to them. And if you feel like you haven't got many friends that you can speak to, then again, we do lots of training to help you broaden your horizons. And so sometimes we do things like tabletop events. So we'll go to that. This weekend I was at a charity day, and there was a toddler waddle or something, and there was lots of mums and babbas there, and I had a table, and I was just talking to people about the product. So I think we touched up. We spoke to about 50 people that day. So you don't necessarily have to have customers that you already know. You can, when you've got a bit of confidence and you've got someone holding your hand, get out there into the bigger, wider world and speak to people about the products, to people that you've never met before.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jo. Yeah, it's fantastic. No, thank you. And then another one that's just come up from Stacey, Rachel, might be a good one for you, just in case your battery dies, is how do you fit it in around the kids?
Yes. Do you know, was it Jo that said she doesn't know how she had the time to work? I think when you have kids, especially kids at home, so mine are 4 and 2, so I do have a little one still at home. You do have to think about it. I think my biggest tip for that is being organised, which I love, being a teacher. So what I tend to do is sit down on a Sunday night and I look at the week ahead. I look at what birthday parties and things like that we've got on, and I plan the chunks of time that I'm going to use. Some of those chunks of time are really short. For instance, last night I knew I was driving to see a friend in Watford, and Rosa would have had a nap in the car. So instead of listening to the radio or having it quiet, I made sure that I was going to do some training in that slot. So it's about finding the small chunks of time that you've got and being really creative with them. So yeah, nap times I use. She does do a few hours now at a preschool, so I use those few hours. I have had to, I don't call them sacrifices, I call them choices, and that's something I've learned from listening to other people. You have to make choices, and I was somebody that loved Strictly Come Dancing, and the last season I didn't watch Strictly Come Dancing. I gave that up as time to use to grow my business. And so yeah, I pick my chunks of time. And the other thing I think I quickly realised actually is, in terms of talking to people about the products and the business, you do need to put aside some time. Some of the time is evenings where you can hold a small event for people, which is actually very enjoyable to do something different from being mum. But I was actually able to do that with the girls anyway. So we went to so many toddler groups that I could talk to people and ask them how they were and have a conversation with them when it was appropriate and share the products. I would have conversations with friends and family or best friends from around the country. And again, at some point, they would ask me and say, what is it that you're doing? And we could have a nice chat about that. I have on my team a cleaner, actually. She's not a mum, but she is as busy as me. And she works probably 60 hours a week cleaning. And she has a little basket of products that she drops off with every client. And that's how she's built a business, and an amazing business at that, actually. And that's something I use now at toddler groups too. I take it along and use it as I go along. So yeah, I think organisation, small chunks of time, and use the things that you do anyway as opportunities to speak to people.
Brilliant, thank you, thanks. And another question that has come up a few times actually from several people are asking the same thing. So how much money can you earn and how quickly can you make it? Liz, do you want to answer that one?
Yes, yeah, that's fine. Well, it's really down to the individual. So I find that a lot of my team will normally, if they put everything into plan that I help them with, they normally get their first investment back within 2 to 4 weeks, and that's my main priority, to help them do that, because obviously they've started doing this to make some money. So that's our first priority. And then from there, we're looking at, depending on what they're looking for. So to start off with, they can be earning £200 to £400 a month as that top-up income that I mentioned that I was doing earlier. And depending on if they want to build that bigger income, what their goals are, what they want to achieve by when, the hours they have each week, because that's really important. They have to be realistic about what time they have, obviously. We then will then look at if they want to build the income of 1,000 to 2,000, say in 4 to 6 months. Some people get there quicker than that. It's all down to the individual. Some people take longer. So each journey is different. But then once you get to that income of 1,000 to 2,000, you're then looking to build on that if that's what you're looking for. And basically, there's no cap on your income. There's some people within two years of joining Forever are on a 6-figure income plus. So pretty incredible, really, when you think about it, all around what they're doing. And actually helping people sack their boss is probably one of the most rewarding parts of what I do. So yeah, hopefully that's answered in a very short space.
Yeah, and I think whilst you're just talking about that, Liz, another question that's come up from Emma is how do you build a team and how easy is it to build a team? And I know that's sometimes a little bit of a concern for people, especially if they want to build the bigger incomes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, building your team can be very, very similar to how you build that customer base, really. So basically, we start with the people we know and care about, people that we identify that this might be a good opportunity for them, and we just invite them to have a look. Often you can get referrals, so somebody may say, well, this isn't the right time for me, but actually my sister is really looking for something that would fit around her family. So it's quite incredible how this can fit around literally everything. I work with a few business owners that are running their own business but are looking for that extra income stream to give them that stability because they're worried about it. So we can we talk to people we know and care about. I also actually now, I mean, I was dead nervous when I started, but I go to networking groups, so I build contacts that way, and it's quite incredible how many people are actually, they may look like they're all doing great, but actually things aren't so good for them. So there are actually lots of different people from all sorts of backgrounds literally are kind of building this, an amazing business. So everywhere and anywhere. A lot of my customers as well, because they start getting great results. I have somebody my neighbour is just about to join my team because her and her daughter have been getting amazing results with the products, and so obviously she's looking, well, why would I pay that? She's kind of thinking, well, I might as well get it at the biggest discount, but also be actually getting that extra income because she's also got her own massage therapy business. So it's literally everywhere and anywhere. I'm always kind of amazed how every walk of life has a great success with this.
Thank you. Thanks, Liz. Right, we've got time for one more question. And one of the things that's coming up quite a lot, or there's a few comments here that are saying they're a bit worried about their confidence being able to do it. So, Alexandra, do you want to answer, can people actually do this?
Yeah, this is a good question for me because, oh my goodness, I asked myself this one time and time again. And as I've mentioned before, I really lacked in confidence and self-belief. So, yeah, I definitely asked myself this. And now, as I'm building business, I get asked this all the time. So, it's something that I definitely felt. But what is amazing is that you get your hand held every step of the way. And I think people sometimes are a bit worried that they'll sign up and they'll be kind of left to get on with it. And that's not how it works. And I often will say that, the most important thing that comes with your box is the person that you sign up with, because they're going to hold your hand, and you're not expected to go out and do things on your own. You really do get your hand held. So from things to, like Rachel was saying, you get helped to find your first customers, you get helped to do your business launches, you get helped to find your first team members. And then when you do find your first team members, obviously you're not going to know how to coach them yet, so you get helped with that as well. You basically get your hand held until you're ready to kind of go on your own. I think it's safe to say, though, you do need to have be willing to step out of your comfort zone a little bit and be willing to push yourself. So obviously you're going to get looked after, but at some point or other, to make your business grow, you will have to go, right, I'm ready to do this and I'm going to try doing it on my own. And that makes you obviously grow. But you're not expected to do that straight away, obviously. I would just say, put your fears aside and just go for it. That's what I did, and it worked.
Yeah. And what is it that Richard Branson says? Wasn't it his famous quote where he says something like, if someone offers you a great opportunity, don't worry about how you're going to do it, just do it and worry about that later. Or something.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Okay, well that brings us to the close of the webinar. So thank you hugely to everyone who has logged on. If anyone has got any other questions or anything that we haven't covered in the webinar this evening, then feel free to go back to the person that invited you to the webinar in the first place, and I'm sure they'll be able to help you. We are going to be doing a season of these, so next week it's going to be Meet the Fitness Fanatics. They'll be meeting the corporate people, and there's a few coming up over the next months. So thank you again. I hope you found that most informative. Thank you as well to Rachel, Joe, Liz and Alexandra. And we hope to be seeing you soon at the next event. Thanks again, ladies.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.